Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee here, and this is episode 116 of the Wrestlebread podcast. So, last week was supposed to be episode 116, but I had went and got my second COVID shot on Thursday, and I was told by a lot of people that normally when you get the second shot, that's when you really start feeling the side effects. And normally I'm not really the person to get sick or anything like that. I'm very asystematic with when it comes to being sick, and so I wasn't really thinking I was going to be anything like that. But come Friday afternoon while I was working, oh my gosh, I started feeling tired. I started feeling like I felt myself getting hot, but first of all, I felt so tired. Like I couldn't wait to get off work. And then once I got off work, I had a low fever. I felt tired. I went and took a nap, which is an awesome thing to do as an adult. Now, whether you agree with vaccines or not, that's your decision. It's your life, your decision, your consequences, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. All I know is that when I get my mutant powers and I become the next Professor X, I will be taking applications for, security detail. Maybe I'll open up a school as well. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to be, good or evil. It depends on what type of mutant powers I develop from all this. But all jokes aside, I'm happy to be fully vaccinated. I have my opinions about it, but I'm happy that I'm able to kind of get back to some type of normalcy and enjoy the world again. I also been checking out Loki, and I'm not going to give out any spoilers, but if you haven't been watching the shows, like Disney Plus, the only reason why Disney Plus is doing so well and why it's so worth it is mainly because of Star Wars and Marvel. The shows that are being developed right now, especially with Marvel, is so good. And I'm not a Marvel person. Like I said before, I grew up as a big DC person, but once the Marvel cinematic universe started coming around and like hearing all these different stories and how things are integrating with each other, whether it's a show or movie and everything like that, and you get the same. It's the same Iron Man. There hasn't been like 10 different Iron Mans like it is in DC. Directors and writers are all working together, so it kind of reminds me of how back in the 90s, 80s and 90s, it was Batman of 89, then Batman Returns, and then Batman kind of takes a full on, I can't even say a left turn. I just say a 180 and then a right turn and a left turn when it came to what was it, Batman Forever, with that weird movie, and then Batman and Robin, and then after that monstrosity, it was never heard of again until the great mind of Christopher Nolan decided to do Batman Begins in that trilogy. So, but I'm loving it. I've been enjoying watching Loki, and we got Rick and Morty coming out as well, and so it's just been a very start of a good summer, and this week has been a very good week for wrestling fans. So getting into some of the news that has happened, first of all, as we all know, Zelina Vega is back in WWE. And there's different opinions about it. Some people are very happy that she is back. Some people are very upset that she is back. Particular people sitting there cursing about it and everything like that. But look, it's her life. We don't know what is really going on backstage. So that's why, when I say when I give my opinion on things, a lot of situations I hope for the best, but we don't know what the conversation was. We don't know really why she was let go, why they decided to bring her back. All there is Zelina's story, WWE's story, and then there's the truth. So it could have been possible that maybe she just really wants to work with WWE. Whether it's a stupid company or not, I know, it's a very fun thing to make fun of WWE and things like that. And Vince McMahon makes dumb decisions. He really does. But you really can't touch the type of money and the endorsements and everything you really get with WWE. AEW is going to get there. It is. But right now, WWE is really, really killing it as far as once you reach a certain level, the endorsements in the market and things like that you'll get being on, news shows and TV shows, and you branch out to TV shows and movies and stuff like that. I mean, look at Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is in now the Star Wars universe. Look at that. John Cena, The Rock, they'd all transitioned to Hollywood. Becky Lynch did a few. I mean, it was WWE studio stuff, but when she was on the top of her game, she was all over the place. So you really can't touch the amount of money, the amount of exposure that WWE will give to you versus AEW right now. And this isn't, like I said, this isn't a knock at AEW. AEW is not there right now. You're not going to really see. Like maybe Kenny Omega, but you're not going to see Darby Allin on the Fox morning news because they're coming into town. You might, you may not, but they're not going to be on Good Morning America. Now we see Bianca Belair is now on commercials and stuff. I forgot what commercial I've been seeing her in. I completely forgot, but she's in a commercial as well. So it's just like you really can't match that exposure. Also, you have a lot of friends, family there. I mean, Zelina met her husband at WWE. Who knows what has been going on? Maybe they turned around and apologized. Maybe she was the one who apologized. Maybe they came together and came to some sort of agreement about it. Who knows? We don't know what has really happened. All I know is that she is back. Tommy N had went on to Twitch the night of her debut, and he talked about how, she's very happy right now and things like that. And I'm happy for her. If that's what she wants to do, that is what she wants to do. You can't sit there and get mad at her for wanting to go back to WWE. And, there is toxic things that can happen in WWE, but it's just like, I don't know. You have the choice. Like, we've seen it plenty of times before. Sometimes you'll get out the contract, sometimes you won't get out of the contract. But, at the end of the day, it's your choice. She could have simply not have gone back. It was her choice to go back. So, can't be mad at her for doing what she wants to do. Truthfully. Also, going along with the women's division, Bayley has torn her ACL. Now, it's not exactly official that she torn her ACL. I read that it's said that she tore her ACL during training. I think it was earlier today or yesterday, and now she is no longer in the Money in the Bank title match that was going on next week, which is really a shame. I kind of like what they are doing with the feud. I really love Bayley the way she is now. The way she was when she first came in the main roster with the ponytail and things like that, and who she is now is definitely night and day. She definitely has evolved as a character and a gimmick. But really sad for her. She's going to be out for 9 months. 9 months. That's a very long time to be away from the ring. Even with sports, whenever you tear a ACL, you break a bone. And I've said this about going into football with Dak Prescott and a lot of people. Once you tear, a ligament, you break a bone or something like that, you don't always come back 100%. You don't always come back 100%. Maybe it's the, that slight fear that you can tear it again. You're kind of a little more careful with movements and things like that. Now, we don't know exactly what it was that she was doing when she had, tear her leg. She could have been doing a simple move. She could have been trying to do something complex for this match that was coming up. Who knows? But best of luck to Bayley. I hope she has a speedy recovery. I don't want her to come back like John Cena be doing. He'd be coming back in like 4 months and stuff like that when he tears like 5 ligaments or something like that. We don't need that. I want her to be healthy and happy when she comes back. Another piece of news, I found this out on social media. Now, I'm not 100% sure exactly what it is, but from what I'm getting is that Terry Funk has dementia. There was a rumor that his health is really deteriorating, but it doesn't really seem like that is the story. It's just that he just has dementia, and I believe he is in an assisted home, probably so he can have, around-the-clock care if the dementia gets worse. And I really, my heart goes out to Terry Funk. I knew someone who had dementia that was very close to my family's, and I watched how dementia can take someone. And so my prayers and my thoughts go out to Terry Funk and his family. I hope, there is a lot of research going on as far as a cure for dementia or, treatments so that it doesn't really affect, like it can prolong the effects that it can take on people. So I really hope for a healthy and happy, life for him while he is dealing with this, dealing with dementia. Last piece of news, and this was all over social media, Jimmy Uso got another DUI. I believe this is number 4, and wow. I really hope he gets help. Like, even seeing him on SmackDown, it was something with his eyes. Like, something wasn't right with him there. Not saying, like, maybe he was, like, not like maybe he was, under the influence or anything like that, but it was just something with his eyes that he was like really, it's like sadness in there or something like that, or maybe shame. I don't know. But with this being number 4, he has a problem. I really hope somebody like really steps in and like get him some help. With this being the 4th DUI, that means that there is a problem going on. That he's not calling for Uber or anything like that. That he is deciding to drive under the influence and potentially hurt someone or hurt himself. We see this happen all the time in the news of someone driving under the influence and causing an accident or something like that. But I really hope he gets help. I know someone in my family who is suffering from, alcoholism. It's not a fun thing at all to watch. And truthfully, as much as with me just saying, I hope he gets help, the only person that can help Jimmy Uso is Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso has to be the one. Hopefully something clicks in him for him to change, because what's going to happen is he's going to start going down this road and he's eventually going to start losing things. Whether it's job, family, friends, and potentially his life. But I really don't want it to get there. But I'm hoping that he will get the help that he definitely needs. So getting into the great week that we had, I should say. I really didn't watch too much of Raw. Normally I watch Raw on Hulu, but I didn't check too much of it, but I did check out some of it. So I know that Jinder Mahal is back, first of all, rode in on a motorcycle and he wanted to fight Drew McIntyre, if I remember this correctly. He wanted to fight Drew McIntyre because he tried to text Drew McIntyre while Drew McIntyre was champion, and Drew McIntyre didn't answer him back or something like that. And now he wants to, he's upset because, no one had, it seemed like Drew McIntyre didn't have time for him anymore. So that leads to a feud. We got more of Dewdrop and Eva Marie. Hopefully people will calm down about the whole Dewdrop situation. And then something I didn't even catch until now is that Nikki Cross name is Nikki Ash. And I forgot exactly what it means, or I think it means almost superhero or something like that. I don't know. I know it's her idea and everything like that. Like I had said before, for her to keep the Nikki Cross name and still be the superhero character was kind of weird. What will be like perfect booking though, if this either has something to do with Nikki Cross, I mean not Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, or if this is Alexa Bliss like slowly going insane, having like this quote unquote hallucination, or like I don't know, like this thought that she, like a split personality, I guess you say. Not exactly like not getting to like Bray Wyatt and the Fiend type of situation, but for her to create this character and for her to be like really really good, but then she's like slowly realizing like I can't be good and stuff like that, and then slowly kind of descend into a heel character. That would be really good booking for Nikki Cross, because she's good when she was the quote unquote insane character that she was in when she was in NXT. But I would love for this to be like, for it to be something sinister behind this. Who knows if they're actually gonna go down that road or not. But we saw her in the 8-women tag match with her, Bliss, Naomi, Asuka, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Dewdrop, and Eva Marie. And we got Alexa Bliss once again with, possessing people, which I don't know. You can either love it or hate it. I'm just not sure where she got the power from. Like it's not like really 100% if this power is coming from Lily or this power is coming from the Fiend. Like, did she get powers from the Fiend when she turned her back on him or something like that, or is she getting these powers from Lily? Maybe I haven't been paying attention too much on like her promos and stuff like that I may have missed it. But I'm just really curious where the powers are coming from and what are we doing with this. We also got Mustafa, I keep saying Mustafa Ali versus Mansoor. And I'm, a little surprised that he is on the main roster. And at first I thought he was a heel, but it seems like it is Mustafa who is going to be the heel. They didn't really have too much time in this match. Mustafa ended up getting the win with a roll up. He pretended like it was something wrong with his leg. He kind of, pulled on the baby face feels, I should say, of Mansoor. Came in, got the quick roll up, showed there's nothing wrong with his leg, of course, the classic heel move. And then he was sitting there giving little tidbits to Mansoor, sitting there saying, don't think like me, and I used to be like you, and stuff like that. So very interesting to see where this goes. Like, I don't know if they're going to try to turn him heel or not. It might be a little too quick because I don't know. Maybe it's. I don't think he has been on. I don't think he had that many appearances on WWE Raw or anything like that, unless they were going to Saudi or something like that. I say, bring him up, give him time, let us kind of get to know him a little better, especially for those who didn't watch the Crown Jewels or anything like that and have no idea who this person is. Kind of introduce him a little bit. Who knows? Let's see. Um, I think that was. I mean, I did see the New Day versus the Hurt Business, which was. I mean, it was a pretty good. It was a pretty good match. It was pretty solid. I like this storyline of MVP is trying to get Kofi Kingston to kind of turn on Xavier Woods, to kind of bring him back to, you're doing all this silly stuff and, you're not being focused. And, you gotta like stay focused and go after the title. You lost your title in 8 seconds. You come with me and I'll put a gold on you, which is, it's kind of true. I mean, look at the people who he brought on to the Hurt Business, and each of them had gold at one point. So if I was Kofi, I may listen to MVP just a little bit more. So going into another bit of news too, WWE, as we all know, is going to back to a live crowd next Friday. I can't wait. I really do miss a live crowd. You know, Even though I'm sure Vince McMahon is not going to really like being in front of a live crowd because you can't really control the sound. You can't control who the crowd is booing. You can't control who the crowd's going to cheer for. You can't control the chants, stuff like that. Even though he has famously tried to fix it with the piped in sounds and stuff like that. But they are back on the road. I kind of feel bad for wrestlers because as we've seen with the quarantine and stuff like that, a lot of wrestlers had a lot more time to be at home, and spend time with their families and stuff. And it's like now that they are back on the road, they're not going to get as much time as they used to, being at home and spending time with family and stuff like that. So I kind of feel bad because, it's back to that 5 days a week schedule with live shows and being on the road and not seeing, kids growing up and stuff. But nevertheless, I am excited to have, regular shows, live crowds again. They did announce a couple more dates. I've been keeping my eye when they're coming back to Philly, and they're actually coming to Philly in September for SmackDown. Yes, please give me my ticket. Especially if even I know that they're going to be doing a draft sometime after SmackDown, so maybe I should wait. Even though SmackDown is still the better show, I'm still hoping that the Tribal Chief is going to be on SmackDown so I can be there. I would like to see the Tribal Chief live, please. But yeah, they're going to be in Philly in September. AEW is coming to Philly in October too, and I'm definitely thinking about checking out that show because I was supposed to go before the pandemic happened. But, unfortunately, I couldn't go. But they're saying that, Extreme Rules will be in September. Last year, it was that horror show and all that other crap. But this year is supposed to be in September in Columbus, Ohio. Let me see. It was something else that I forgot. Oh yeah, and then they're coming back to Madison Square Garden on September 10th for SmackDown. And I don't know, I might make a trip up there, but I don't know because they are coming to Philadelphia in 2 weeks. But I always wanted to go to Madison Square Garden for something. As many times I walk past by that building when I go visit New York, unfortunately I haven't gone to any events, any sporting events or anything like that at the Garden. So I would love to catch a WWE show or even an AEW show one time there, but I'll definitely keep my eye on it. So now we are going into the Great American Bash event at NXT this week. And I was a little surprised. I thought we would get, the typical 5 matches that we would get for takeovers, even though this isn't technically a takeover. I thought we would have 5 matches, but here we only got 4 matches. Starting off, we opened up with the NXT Tag Team Championships, MSK versus Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. This match was so good. I love me some tag team wrestling. Tommaso Ciampa is showing that he can team up with anyone and can still come out like as if they've been teaming for years. Him and Timothy Thatcher, you would have thought that they have been a team for the longest ever. There's nothing to say about MSK. MSK is completely awesome. I am very happy that they are with NXT, that they are really bringing up that division in NXT, because truthfully, in my opinion, before MSK came over, AEW had a stronger tag team division. But now NXT is definitely giving them a run for their money. This was basically the veterans, not the grizzled young veterans, but the veterans versus, the rising stars, I should say. But oh my gosh, Lee and Carter with their tag team moveset, it's just they're pulling out moves. I have no idea the name. Like, I was sitting there like, what the hell is that? Is that a spinning moonsault or something like that? Like, I need someone to tell me the names of some of these moves that they're pulling, because I was in like awe of of everything that they had done. Of course, MSK had defeated Ciampa and Thatcher to retain the tag team championship, which that was going to be my original prediction when I was going to do my prediction show. I was going to go with MSK to retain, as much as I like Tommaso Ciampa and Thatcher. For the type of skills that MSK is showing, I feel as though that they need that much of a strong tag team to dethrone them. And as much as I really like Tommaso Ciampa and Thatcher, I don't think it was their time. I really don't think it was their time. Next up after that was the segment with Johnny Gargano and Karrion Kross. Johnny Gargano really gives me like early 90s Shawn Michaels. Not really DX Shawn Michaels, but 90s Shawn Michaels, when he would sit there and be very playful and stuff like that, and the promos he would cut. It was pretty good. I was cracking up a few times. I'm surprised. Now, this was a crowd. I think they were still in the Capitol Center. I believe they were. And I am completely surprised by the crowd. I couldn't believe the crowd was chanting, "You suck" to Karrion Kross. I'm like, excuse me. Where are y'all from? Like, did WWE paid you guys money, or is this people who work at the Performance Center or something like that, or the Capitol Wrestling Center, whatever it's called now? Are you guys paid actors or something? Like, it really confused the heck out of me that Karrion Kross was getting booed and was being chanted, "You suck." But there was this funny line that Johnny Gargano has said. Karrion Kross had mentioned that Johnny Gargano was wearing his wife's pants. And then Johnny said, "It's funny you mentioned my wife's pants because you couldn't even lace up my wife's boots." And then Karrion stood there. Like, I get that Samoa Joe is in there. I get it. But someone came at your wrestling skill and you stood there. Like, you didn't even try to go after him and have people hold back. That's when you get the moments when you sit there and go after someone, and then you get all the referees to come out and stuff like that. Like, that should have been the moment where the locker room empties out. Someone not only coming at you, just period, on live TV, they're coming at your wrestling ability. They're saying, my wife wrestles better than you. No, that we should have seen straight up TikTok type of attitude at that moment. But, Karrion Kross just kind of stood there. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. I mean, he was showing that he was very angry, but I felt as though with that line, it should have really took him over the top, not just stand there and breathe all heavy or something like that. But it looks like, I believe we're getting a match between them next week. Yeah. We're getting a match between them next week with Samoa Joe as a special guest referee. Chef's Kiss with Samoa Joe as a special guest referee. We know that someone is going to bump into him, mistakenly hit him, maybe look at him wrong, and then we're going to get classic Samoa Joe, who's going to put someone to sleep. Because it's night, read the bedtime story, and tuck you in real quick. Next up after that is the $1 Million Championship, LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes. And if Cameron Grimes was to lose this match, he would have to be the butler of LA Knight. As much as I like Cameron Grimes, I kind of figured that LA Knight was going to win this. Just like I really like Cameron Grimes, but I know the vignettes of Cameron Grimes as the butler for LA Knight is going to be like chef's kiss. The second time I said that, you may hear me say that a lot in this episode. It's going to be gold. It's going to make people feel, be on the side of Karrion Kross even more. LA Knight obviously can play the heel role perfectly in this scenario. But this was a good match between these two. The crowd was 100% behind Cameron Grimes. I feel as though that the crowd was just cheering for the face the whole time. So that's why I kind of feel like, where is this crowd coming from? Hi, do you guys know that you can cheer for both people? Because that's normally what the NXT crowd is famous for. The NXT crowd doesn't solely cheer for a face or cheer for a heel. They just cheer for the fact that it's good wrestling. If you're a heel and you sat there and said crap about my city, you sat there and called me names and stuff like that, but if you put on a good match, I'll respect you for that. That's basically what the NXT crowd is. That you could be the heel, you could be the face, but if you put on a good match, we're going to like you for that. But for some reason, with this night, the crowd was just like, if you're a face, we'll definitely cheer for you. Now, with Cameron Grimes, of course, I definitely expect you to be behind him all the way. But yeah, the crowd was definitely behind Grimes. Now, this was a good match, but the thing is, it's kind of hard to continue a feud at a high level once you do a ladder match, especially the ladder match that these two had. Normally a feud leads up to a ladder match, whereas though here we are coming down from a ladder match. This was still good. This was a lot of back and forth action and everything like that. But it just wasn't up to that par as far as the way the ladder match went. But in the end, LA Knight, won the match. I think he used the championship belt. I think it was outside the ring. He used the championship belt. Cameron Grimes was able to get back in the ring before the 10 count. And that's when LA Knight did his finisher, and retained the $1 Million Championship. And I do respect the fact that the $1 Million Championship is something that's kind of being defended as like a legitimate belt. I know that it was defended back in the day, but I don't know. This time around, it just feels like it means a lot more versus, just kind of holding it just to hold it. So after that, we actually got the announcement of the Breakout Tournament, which is supposed to begin next week. And we got a breakdown of the people who were in it, and I believe it was 8 people. I was actually looking for that Brock Lesnar look-alike. I forgot what his name is. I think his name was Parker. Oh man, now his name escapes me. I think his first name is Parker. I forgot the last name, but he looks just like freaking Brock Lesnar. As much as he hates being said that he looks like Brock Lesnar, he looks just like Brock Lesnar. So there's 8 people here. They went through some of the names. We got Carmelo Haynes. He actually went against Adam Cole, and he had a great match. I remembered him. Can't wait to see what he got going. We got Trey Baxter, who went against Kushida when Kyle O'Reilly was ringside, and Kyle O'Reilly was sitting there looking at Trey Baxter like, okay, I see what you got going on. There was Odyssey Jones, who looked like a love child of Mark Henry and Keith Lee. I know Vince McMahon is salivating at the bits for him. I can't wait to see what he can do, though, because there's a lot of big men who are coming out that can do some type of like high flyer moves and stuff like that. The other names, Duke Hudson, who is from Australia. We had Josh Briggs, Drew Gracie, Andre Chase, and then we had Ikeman Jiro, and his John said Japanese handsome style. So I don't know what to get from that. Are we getting like a cocky Shinsuke Nakamura or something like that? Like, I don't know what we're getting here, but I can't wait to see what these guys got going. Obviously, this is the next wave of NXT superstars. Since we are getting the call-ups that is going to eventually happen, especially once we get to the draft. And I feel bad for those who get drafted to Raw, but, we're going to see who the next superstars are. So after that, we get the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, The Way versus Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. This was a lot of great offense from Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. Them two showing that they definitely deserve the belts, that, they actually showing that they are an actual tag team, that they have the chemistry. I like it when it's an actual tag team and they have that type of chemistry, the type of flow, I guess I should say, when it comes to tag team wrestling, versus when WWE famously loves to just put, person 1 and person 2 together because you guys have a common enemy, or what they always do is because you two don't like each other, we're going to put you guys in a tag team and we'll go from there. So there was a lot of back and forth with this, of course. Zoe Stark showing what she does. She has come not really a long way, but she is definitely kind of like shot up since she came into NXT. Io Shirai, of course, doing what she does best. Candice LeRae, of course, doing what she does best. Indy Hartwell, Indie Wrestling, I should call her. Definitely holding her own and everything like that. And then the lights went out. And we got that battery vignette, which we have been seeing over and over and over again. And, normally with something like that, it's supposed to be someone new, someone debuting. Or, from what I kind of guessed once I started seeing that it's, being charged up to 100%, a return. And who it was Tegan Nox. And I'm sorry to say I wasn't that excited about it. I really like Tegan Nox. She had such a great babyface underdog run, especially when she was going against Dakota Kai. That feud between her and Dakota Kai, I really love, especially the turn that Dakota Kai had did at War Games. That moment will definitely live in a lot of minds for a very long time. My thing is that this is the third time that Tegan Nox had torn an ACL, and I'm hoping that, she's all good, all set, ready to go. However, this is the third time she had teared an ACL, and she's a young girl, and I don't want her walking with a cane or with a walker because she doesn't have, you know, anything in her knees. So I'm hoping that maybe this time around, she'll have better luck, you know, with wrestling and things like that. But it's what she wants to do. She wants to keep on wrestling despite, this being the third time she had an ACL tear. I remember, I think of the last time it was actually, I think it was two at the same time or something crazy like that. But I'm hoping that she is good to go. So of course, with her coming out, that led a distraction with Candice LeRae, and then Zoe Stark took out Indy Hartwell with her finishing move. I forgot the name of her finishing move, but sometimes it looks good, sometimes it looks like she botches it. But I forgot the name of it. But she did it on Indie Wrestling, and we got new champs. And I don't know how to feel about it. I love Io Shirai, I really do. Zoe Stark is really good. She is. But I don't know how to feel that them two are a tag team and they just got the titles. I don't know how to feel about that. I was hoping that Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae will have a longer title reign because it was very fun to kind of see them together, especially the way. The way has become a very fun faction, I should say, in NXT. But it is what it is when it comes to booking. After that, and after that, Indy Hartwell was laid out on the apron, and out comes Dexter Lumis to pick up Indy Hartwell, and he walked off with her. So now everyone is hype. Everyone can take a breath now. Index is back. Poppy isn't going to get in between of True Love. But I don't know. I just don't. I hate makeshift tag teams that WWE likes to do. So I'm hoping that maybe, I don't know, maybe this will change and they become a really good tag team to hold the title. So then after that, we got the Cypher celebration with Hit Row. At first, I really didn't know how to feel about this because, whenever there are like performances in the middle of a wrestling show, it kind of, really slows the momentum for that show. We've seen it a lot, especially when they do it at WrestleMania. We have a full-on show and everything like that, and it kind of gets you feeling somewhat exhausted and kind of drains the energy from the show. Even when it's a good song or something like that, to have like that long of a period of no wrestling, no action or anything like that, especially with NXT, TakeOver or something like that, where it's a lot of high flying action and stuff like that, and it kind of like, now you're at this point where you have to like calm down because you're listening to music. I don't know. So I don't know how to be feeling about this. But with Hit Row, you either love what this was or you hate it. When Ashanti the Adonis, Ashanti, her name is Ashanti, right? No. No. Ashanti the Adonis was the DJ. B-Fab was the one who went first. She was fine. She was good. I wasn't really like completely blown away with her lyrics or anything like that. She did say this line. Oh man, I forgot the line that she said. She said something along the lines like, when I want to go north, he wants to go south or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. I really didn't expect that type of rhyming. And then we got Top Dollar. He should change his name because that was not Top Dollar. Top Dollar needs some work, okay? Top Dollar was more around, I was going to say 50 cents, but we already got 50 cents. I'll say he was more around a quarter. That's what he was. Top Dollar was a quarter, and he definitely needs a little bit of work. You can tell who isn't really the rapper of the group. You can tell who wasn't really the rapper of the group, who probably is better in the studio versus live in front of a crowd. Maybe he was nervous, who knows? But when you're in front of a crowd, you gotta step up your game and get it together. And then comes Swerve, and I haven't heard him rap before, but when I heard his flow, I was like, wow, okay. I'm excited about this. He was really good. He pretty much saved the whole thing. Swerve was awesome. And now I'm like, okay, so I see why, I see it. I see why we're doing this. We're doing Hit Row. Mainly because of you, because you're the one who can really flow and can really rap. So I'm happy for it. But I would like to see B-Fab in the ring. I don't know if she's just going to be a valet or if she's actually going to wrestle. I would love to see what she can do in the ring versus, singing the chorus like she always do when they come out. But that segment went for a very long time. Not only did the three of them freestyle, but then they did their song. And they walked down to the ring. Mysteriously, the DJ booth was gone. So I'm saying like, well, who's doing the music, dude? That's not how it works around here. But yeah, the four of them came to the ring. They did their song, their theme song. And I was like, wow, this is a really long segment. Even though Swerve was great, but that was a really long segment, especially when you had Top Dollar in there. They could have just did the song, but I guess they wanted us to see how good Swerve is. But in order to see how Swerve is, you kind of got to go through each of the levels. Kind of like a video game, You go through the beginning boss who was a little bit tough because, you don't really know the game that well. And then you get to the second boss and you're like, wow, that shit was easy. And then you get to the final boss and it's like, whoa, we kind of died a couple of times. This is exactly what happened when Hit Row did this Cypher celebration. But I don't know, it did kind of drag on a little bit too long, but I did appreciate, what it was, especially with Swerve. Swerve was excelente. And then we get to the main event, Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole. A lot of hype over this match, of course, from what we've seen when they first went against each other. This match went on for a very long time. I forgot to check the times with these matches, but this match went on for a very long time. A lot of focus on, the knees. There was a lot of submissions going on. But there was some storytelling. I will say, even though this match was long, it was not as long as their first match. Was just like checking a watch on type of thing. But this was a really good match, I would say. I would say it was behind the tag team match as far as the match of the night. But with this one, Adam Cole had won with the Panama Sunrise, and he did a last shot as well. But it was a lot of good storytelling between these two, with these two being friends, and then, the breakup with Adam Cole turning on Kyle O'Reilly, and then just the all-out, not really hatred, but close to hatred that both men have for each other. And it definitely spilled into this ring. I really feel, I'm happy for Kyle that he is getting this singles run and really showing how good he is in the ring. Of course, we know about Adam Cole, so it's not really that much of a surprise. But Kyle, almost getting Cole to tap out when he did a knee bar, and then he was really close. I thought Adam Cole was going to really tap, but he didn't. He held on. But yeah, this was a really good match, and it was a good takeover. I will say, it was not really. I keep calling it a takeover. It was just a. It was a special event, I should say. Um, it was a good Great American Bash show. Not as good. It's not on takeover level, because normally on takeover level, it's not a lot of stop and go type of action. A lot of it is just really like go 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 type of situation. But overall, I would give the Great American Bash, I would say a B. I would say a B. Good matches. The Cypher celebration kind of slowed things down a bit. Little irritated with the I was irritated with the live crowd. I believe they cheered for Adam Cole in this match. Yeah, the crowd was behind Adam Cole in this match, so they kind of deviated a little bit. Maybe they finally, woke up or, drunk some coffee or something. Maybe they realized they're not getting the Cash App money from Vince McMahon for cheering for the faces the whole night, and they decided to cheer for Adam Cole. Who knows? But yeah, the Karrion Kross not going after Johnny Gargano after Johnny Gargano said part. It kind of hurts, how it kind of hurts Karrion Kross a little bit for you to get insulted like that, and you just kind of stand there and you did nothing but breathe heavy. But overall, it was a good show. It was. Next up, AEW Dynamite. Excuse me. I knew the event was called Road Rager. I knew it. I even wrote it down. Road Rager. It didn't occur to me until 11 p.m. last night. Okay, this is Friday and I'm recording. So it didn't occur to me. I'm sorry, 11 p.m. Didn't occur to me until after Dynamite that the reason why it's called Road Rager is because they're on the road for the first time. Oh my goodness. Hi, my name is Jaydee. I just came from underneath the rock I was living in. And yes, it's called Road Rager because they are on the road. AEW was in Miami for AEW Dynamite this past week, a special event called Road Rager. And that crowd was hype, okay? I love me a really good crowd. However, we are starting to show the things that we do not like about live crowds. As much, and it's kind of funny because they always say you can't please wrestling fans. We've been crying for live fans. Now we got live fans, and it's just like, live crowd was live. However, we were getting some stuff that has happened. First of all, during the segment of Chris Jericho and MJF, a fan jumps into the crowd. I'm sure you have seen all the different angles of the fan getting into the crowd. You see Chris Jericho getting a nice little punch, right? It looked like he kind of missed. It looked like he tried to go for face and kind of missed. But you see, I don't know if anyone noticed. You see, Justin Roberts is a little gangster. He grabbed the leg of the person and was able to get him down. Help the security guard to get him down. But yeah, and then we had the crowd who was chanting the kind of the wrong stuff, which I'll also get into as well. And it's just like, live crowd is starting to show why live crowd is sometimes could be a little bit annoying. So I kind of tuned into AEW Dynamite a little late, so I did miss the matchup between QT Marshall and Triple H Jr. I'm AKA Cody Homelander Rhodes. This was a strap match, and sad for QT Marshall, he didn't even get an entrance. He straight up got a jobber entrance. Like, TV time. You don't have TV time. Get in the ring right now. We need to separate the 10 minutes for Cody Rhodes and his entrance and his glorified walk around the ring in the Homelander costume. I'm hoping this is all leading to a slow heel turn for Cody Rhodes, or else why are we doing Homelander? There is no point of doing Homelander. However, and I've said this before, Cody Rhodes is in this situation where he is finally being able to be the ultimate underdog, just like his dad, and, you know, get cheered and get the big matches and have people, love him, and have women want him to kiss their babies, and men wanting to shake his hand and dye their hair blonde just like him. So this is where we're at, but I'm really hoping this is just a slow burn to him turning heel. And then we can really see Cody Homelander Rhodes in action. This him with the Homelander outfit, it's just like insane. I know Cody Rhodes is really into into gaming and everything like that, and I really hope he knows who Homelander is and that this is being done on purpose. I don't even know if anyone has asked him, like, do you know that's Homelander, or if he tweeted out or something like that. But I really hope this is done purposely and not him just, wanting to do the American colors, and ironically it looks just like Homelander. This was an okay match. Not really the best of strap matches I have seen. WWE had did strap matches before. There was the infamous one. I believe it was JBL and Savio Vega, if I remember correctly. That was a really good one. I think it was another one, Savio Vega and Stone Cold. Maybe that might be the one that I'm thinking of. But I've seen some pretty good strap matches. This one, it wasn't. It's just the fact that we know Cody's gonna win, and so with us seeing this match, knowing that QT Marshall has no chance of winning, because the person who was supposed to win, I forgot the guy's name, that he went against Cody on, I think it was Double or Nothing, if I remember correctly, who should have definitely gotten the win, just to kind of like throw off the booking that, always Cody Rhodes, always a W in his column. I'm just saying, Cody Rhodes just really needs to take some losses. When he lost to Brody Lee, it was such a good feud, especially when Brody Lee completely destroyed the Nightmare Family. That's when you really get that underdog type of feeling. That's when that's when the magic happens. But when you are turning into Cena, basically, with these wins and always winning, but you got that Triple H smell on you as well, it's not as exciting as it should be. We should have been excited for the fact that this is a strap match, but you're really not, because you already know what the ending is going to be. And when you really know what the ending is going to be, it kind of it doesn't really work well for it. Let's see. Great segment with the interview with Kenny Omega and Don Callis. The fans were chanting, "You got fired," and Don Callis. This is the thing with live crowds, when you got to be good at a promo now. For all those people during that whole pandemic, I hope everyone worked on their promo skills, especially in AEW, because those fans, they're going to chant. They are going to chant at you, and you either have to have the strong will to ignore it and not let it swallow you up and have them take over the promo, or you turn it back on them. Don Callis says real men don't quit, they get fired. And so then they talked about how, Kenny Omega defeated everyone, there's no one else to defeat, and then the Dark Order and Evil Uno comes out, and Evil Uno was like, I don't know why you're not listening to the crowd, because the crowd was hot for Hangman Page. They was chanting, "We want Hangman." And they was just red hot for Hangman. Evil Uno was mentioning why you are afraid. And then Kenny Omega came out with the trivia question, what is the capital of Thailand? And then that's when he gave Evil Uno a low kick and said Bangkok. Evil Uno, and I said that was good. that was a good way to do it. But then of course that's when the Dark Order was attacked by Gallows and Anderson. Um, Michael Nakazawa was also in the mix as well. And then comes out Hangman Page. And the crowd went crazy. Um, Especially the part where it looked like he was going to do the clothesline on Kenny Omega, and the crowd really started going crazy. Like, segments like this is so good, and I really love the fact that Hangman Page is getting his moment. And if you remember a year or two ago, I said when it was Hangman Page versus Chris Jericho, as much as I would like for, as much as, you know, it would make sense for AEW's own person to win the title, it wasn't his time yet, because no one knew who Hangman Page was unless you were in, you know, unless you was into it with the Elite and everything. But it wasn't like the crowd wasn't behind him the way that they were behind Chris Jericho. And now look at it now. Hangman Page's story has been building slowly and consistently, and it is like such good booking. Such good shit, as Vince McMahon would say. Such good booking that, you know, it's that slow, like, rise of confidence and stuff like that with Hangman Page and the drinking and stuff like that, and doubting himself and not having the confidence. It's, like, relatable to people, you know? And seeing, like, you got a band of friends who believe in you and, you know, want you to be the best and stuff, and it's just like getting the confidence in yourself. When Hangman Page, if they decide to pull if they decide to pull the plug and have Hangman win the title, especially in front of the live crowd, oh my gosh, it's gonna be on fire. This will help AEW so much when Hangman Page wins the title. That ultimate babyface, and it's not Cody Rhodes, you know, type of babyface. This is like a true babyface underdog, and once he gets his moment, I'm going to be bold and compare it to, you know, the feeling of Becky Lynch winning the title. They may try to do the whole, you know, screw Hangman Page out of title shots and stuff like that. But it's just like the hard work and, you know, the getting the confidence and the belief in yourself that you can do it. Like, you can win the title. Like, that's going to be such a magical moment, and I cannot wait for that to happen. Next up, we have the Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle. There was, like, I hate it when they do these commercial breaks, even though it's picture in picture. I still don't like it. Like, it breaks up the action, and then when you come back, you're gonna miss like 5 minutes of what was going on, and then they have to recap of what's going on. Even though it's picture in picture, like, you're looking at a very small box, and you can't really hear the commentary, so you don't really know what's going on, or, you know, how the crowd is reacting and stuff like that. The crowd was into it as well. Conan cracked me up, first of all, with the Pinnacle won against Inner Circle, which I'm not really surprised about, of course, because we have to do this whole, you know, Inner Circle coming together and getting the ultimate win. In the end, we had Conan, who decided to try to hit Wardlow with, it was a sock. It was something in the sock. I don't even know what was in the sock. Wardlow no-sold it, of course. And then he, you know, was acting like he was about to attack Conan. And then, Tully came in with the chop block. And Conan was trying to sell it, and he shook the leg that was supposed to be injured. And I'm like, dude, selling 101, don't shake the leg that's supposed to be injured. Like, he was like overselling it. Damn near like Dolph Ziggler type of stuff, but, you know, it is what it is. So after that, we got the face-off, Chris Jericho versus MJF. The crowd singing Chris Jericho's song. I mean, they were loud as all hell, of course. We had and this is where we get the live fans. We had a fan, like I said before, tried to jump into the ring. And then they started chanting Y2J, which I don't get why you chant Y2J. And Chris Jericho corrected them too. He said Y2J is dead and has been dead a long time ago. Like, there's a lot of things you could have chanted. Les Champion, Jericho. Like, there's a lot of things you could have chanted for Chris Jericho. And you choose Y2J, which I really didn't get. Like, I don't know why you choose the WWE nickname when you're in AEW. But that's maybe they was a little confused because JR did say WWE Dynamite, so maybe they got a little confused with that one. MJF played off the fan jumping into the ring pretty well. He said, if any of you other fat people want to come in and come into this ring, I'll beat your ass. That kind of made me laugh and stuff like that. And so MJF talked about how with Chris Jericho, what he did to Jon Moxley, how he made Jon Moxley go through each person of the inner circle. He's going to do the same thing with Chris Jericho. He's going to have Chris Jericho go through different opponents of his choosing. And it's supposed to be like, I think it was match stipulations or something like that. It seems like it's going to be the Pinnacle that Chris Jericho has to defeat each member of the Pinnacle. And it's going to be different match stipulations, if I remember correctly. And Chris Jericho is like, look, I'm willing to take any challenge. Well, before, MJF brought out the challenge, he said, I'll even have sex with your mom. And then I forgot what the crowd was chanting. And then Chris Jericho said, again. And so Chris Jericho accepted the challenge that he's going to go through the 4 matches before he gets to MJF. MJF was like, it's not accepted until you shake my hand. Chris Jericho and him shook hands. Chris Jericho held on to the hand, which we of course knew was coming, and he did the Judas effect on MJF, and landed him. He was laid out basically. This was a good promo between the two. Of course, with the live fan coming in, it's live fans for you, folks. It's going to happen. First time we get a show on the road, and that's what we got. After that, we had Matt Sydal versus Andrade El Idolo. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I was watching this match, and I said, yo, this would be a really good high-flying feud if AEW can book it correctly. Andrade kind of needs to change up his look, though, the entrance look. The mask and everything is real cool, but because of the Dark Order, it gets a little confusing because you look at the mask that he's wearing and it's like, it kind of resembles Evil Uno or one of the members of the Dark Order. So hopefully, he will kind of change it up. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a different type of mask or something like that, or something, I don't know. Hopefully he'll change it up, but Andrade looks like $1 million. It's crazy, because we all knew what was there, that Andrade can definitely has, star power, but unfortunately you can only be booked but so far when you're at the mercy of a creative team that has no idea what to do with your potential. But like I said, this was definitely a feud that we could have definitely have gotten out, a nice high-flying feud, if it was booked correctly, because I was watching this match, and I was like, yo, I really didn't think that I would want this type of feud, but I kind of want a feud between these two. It could definitely be done well if it was booked correctly. But, the commercial break again, of course, but there was this crazy move. First of all, Andrade pulled out some crazy ass moves. I had no idea what it was, but he did like this moonsault. Then Matt Sydal rolled out of the way, so he landed on his feet and he did another moonsault. So it was like a double moonsault that he did dude was wearing like, I mean, it was wrestling boots, but he was wearing like church slacks and stuff and doing all this stuff, which was completely crazy. Um, but yeah, I'm excited to see what is going to happen. So then after that, we get a interview with Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson was about to address the AEW crowd, and then the lights go out. And at first, I'm like, okay, is there a technical difficulty? Because we know about, because I remember I think it was around the time of the tropical storm. So I'm like, okay, maybe the power gets knocked out or something, because the lights was off for really long time. So I'm like, either somebody's coming to the ring and taking their sweet ass time, or the power don't went out. And then the lights come back up, and it's motherfucking Tommy End. Looking good. Now that was a nice surprise. First of all, like I said, the night that Zelina Vega appeared on SmackDown, he appeared on her Twitch, and he mentioned about how he has projects coming up. He's not really looking to, return into the ring right now, because he has, projects lined up that, we'll see is coming true and stuff. And I'm sitting here like, you motherfucker, you lied. You are all elite now. And, it seems like, well, it's not seems like, it is. He doesn't have a 90-day clause in his contract. So I don't know if that was AEW, choosing to do that, or I highly doubt this one, that Zelina Vega negotiated for him not to have a 90-day clause when there were talks of her coming back. Or it's just WWE just like, really like, whatever. We're not going to put a 90-day clause on your contract, which is pretty nice for them, despite their decisions that they have been doing when they let people go or refusing to let people go. But yeah, no 90-day clause on his contract. So he immediately went to AEW. So pretty good. My only thing is with the commentary. Excalibur, they were saying Tommy End, and then Excalibur was like, no, it's not Tommy End. His name is Malachi Black. And it's like, well, how do you know what his name is if this is a complete surprise? Now, I didn't even know that he did a YouTube video earlier that day where he mentioned his name is Malachi Black, which I'll get into as well. But my goodness, what a surprise. I love these moments. This is why we just need to just calm down and just let the surprises happen. No one knew, well, people probably guessed when they saw the YouTube video, probably, that he was going to AEW, but oh my gosh, this was such a good surprise, such a good oh shit moment that I really miss with wrestling nowadays. Kind of like, it reminds you of when AJ Styles came to WWE. Those type of moments where you're like, where were you when this happened? But this was a really good surprise. I am very happy for him. And I know what I say with AEW and as far as like signing the WWE wrestlers and stuff like that. Like signings like Paul White and I don't know if Mark Henry is just going to be, if he's solely a coach or if he's actually going to be wrestling. But those type of signings and like what's his name? Zack Ryder and stuff like that. It's like, I'm sorry to say, but they have been in wrestling for so long. There's not a lot that they can offer now. Like, what can the Big Show offer as a wrestler that'll be different from the 20 years that we have seen him? You can kind of say the same thing for Chris Jericho. Difference being, Chris Jericho can put over other talent. If they're being used in that sense, as far as like the older wrestlers that are being signed, okay, especially for example, like Sting and Darby Allin, perfect use of someone with who is very known, who's a legend in wrestling. Use the legend's name and star power to put over someone. And I said this before, oh my gosh, this Sting, who's this guy that's with him though? oh, that's Darby Allin. Oh man, he's really cool. I like the face paint and he's skateboarding and stuff like that. Oh, he's really cool in the ring. I'm gonna check him out more. Boom. That's perfect. But when you get, and I'm going there, when you get someone like Goldberg who decides I want to, make another mark for myself, and I want to win a title just so I can bring it to my kid's school, and I know you want to put over this person, but I really want to win the title. It's WrestleMania season. Like, that doesn't work. But like I said though, there is a true problem with AEW and their roster, and I am happy that Tommy and Malachi Black has been signed. I'm very happy for Andrade, because those are perfect signings because they have potential that hasn't been used, especially Andrade. Andrade, he had Zelina Vega and stuff like that, but he wasn't used. He had his moment in NXT, but as far as the main roster, in front of like the casual eyes and stuff like that, he didn't have his time to shine. And that potential is there. He can be a really big star, especially with the Hispanic community and stuff like that. If you want to draw in that demographic, with Tommy N, of course, we've seen his potential, and then he got called up to the main roster, and he had these weird gimmicks and stuff like that, and he was teamed up with Ricochet, and they started messing with his theme and stuff like that, and it doesn't really seem like they knew what to do with someone like that. And so I'm very happy when someone gets signed, whether it's AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Impact, AAA, whatever. I love it when someone gets signed and their potential is being used properly. So I'm very happy for Andrade. I'm happy for Malachi Black. I know that their potential will be used properly. Fingers crossed, though. Fingers crossed. Because we were a little rocky when it came to Miro, with the best man and stuff like that. We're definitely starting to get what we really wanted, which is that Rusev type, very dominating type of gimmick that fits Miro. However, and I said this plenty of times before, AEW really has a problem with this roster size. They have over 100 wrestlers and counting. And they have so many people that they are filling up, 8-9 hours of wrestling a week between Elevation, Dark, Dynamite, and now this new show that is coming out. They have enough talent to fill up all those hours. They have to fill up more hours than WWE has. Let's think about it. WWE has 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours SmackDown. I mean, the roster is split, so maybe it's like quote unquote a little easier for them to deal with that. But AEW has to fill up more hours of wrestling than WWE has. And that's the issue, because AEW is just starting, and they already kind of have a oversaturation of having so many wrestlers and not enough time to really get them to shine. And it does suffer when things happen, like the Varsity Blonde suddenly getting the title shot. If you're someone who watches only AEW Dynamite, you're not going to understand the reason why. If you don't watch Being the Elite, if you don't know like the friendship or anything like that between this person and that person, you're not going to get what's going on at all. So hopefully AEW kind of keeps that in mind. Not everyone's going to watch Dark. Not everyone's not going to watch Elevation. And it kind of came to me, WWE markets towards the casual crowd. They're marketing to the people who don't watch NXT, who don't watch NXT UK, that they only see what's in front of them on Raw and SmackDown. AEW market to their core base. The core AEW fans who watch Being the Elite, they follow Kenny Omega since he was in New Japan. They know all the matches that, they know all the indies stars. They watch NWA. They'll watch Dark. They'll watch Elevation. They don't like WWE and stuff like that. It feels like they market towards them. So both companies has this bit of a problem where WWE doesn't respect the fact that that there are fans who watch more, that they neglect the fans that watch their other shows, and AEW kind of neglects the people who don't watch their other shows. So it's kind of this opposite effect that's going on between the two companies. So after that, we got the street fight for the AEW Tag Team Championship. The Young Bucks versus Penta El Zero and Eddie Kingston. Which was it was a good match. It was a good match. There was this spot though where the thumbtacks came into play, and the Young Bucks decided it was a good idea to throw said thumbtacks. Now, the first time was thrown, it was, I think it was to Penta. Penta was in the middle of the ring, and they threw the thumbtacks. But they threw it with a lot of force, and it looked like it kind of went into the crowd a little bit, and you hear the crowd go, oh, but I saw, like, where the tacks kind of were thrown in the direction of, you kind of see the crowd kind of like look around, looking down and stuff, as if something like had hit him or something. Not 100% sure. And then there was the second part where Penta was on the apron, and you see him throw the tacks then, and you can tell it clearly went into the crowd. And I'm sitting here like, I hope that it's family and friends in those first few rolls, because God forbid if a thumbtack hit someone in the eye. I think there were children on that side too. No, it's not gonna like stab someone in the head or something like that, but it could definitely hit someone in the eye. And you have a nice hefty lawsuit that AEW will not do not want on their hands and do not want to be known for. Was it like innovative as far as throwing the thumbtacks? Yeah, but you really gotta think about your moves here. The crazy spot, the Canadian Destroyer from the apron onto the table, which the camera guy, which AEW almost kind of had a somewhat of a bad angle, bad camera angle when it first happened. I mean, this was a good match. It was kind of long, but however, the Young Bucks win in the end. They were able to, I think they put the tacks in Eddie Kingston's mouth, and then they blasted him with a super kick for the win. We had Brandon Cutler, who tried to interfere. We knew it felt like somebody was going to come out to help them, and it was actually Frankie Kazarian who came out. But yeah, this was it was a good match, but, with the Elite having the titles minus the TNT Championship, with them holding the tag team titles and the AEW Championship, it's kind of like we're seeing nothing but the Elite beating down someone, and it's not like they're beating down someone and you see that underdog like starting to build up, especially with the tag team division. But it's mainly like dominance type of situation, especially since they have Gallows and Anderson running around. They have Brandon Cutler. They got Michael Nakazawa as well. And so it's just like, it's not helping in the long run. First of all, for Kenny Omega, with them working on Adam Page, that helps. That works. Building up Kenny Omega to be this dominant force just to use it for Kenny Omega. I mean, not for Kenny Omega, for Hangman Page. Perfect. I don't know what we're doing with the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks is just beating everyone up. And I don't see a tag team that could really, like, step up and defeat them. It doesn't really seem like there's a tag team that has come together, except for Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley, which would have been perfect for them to win the titles, and then could kind of get that feud back and forth between the Young Bucks, Eddie Kingston, John Moxley. It seemed like it was the perfect time for them to pull that trigger, but for some reason they decided not to do it. Now we got Eddie Kingston teaming up with Penta, and then they're losing. So it's just like, where are we going with this? What is the end game? What is the final chapter? What is the last page of this book here? It doesn't really seem like we don't know what we're doing. Going into some fantastic promos. First of all, Britt Baker. I am so amazed at Britt Baker. You know, where she started and where she is now, like, it's night and day. Like, I thought they was going to put the title on her from the get-go because she seemed like she was the top star in the women's division of AEW, but you know, they didn't feel like she was ready, and I saw that, you know, she wasn't ready. She was still learning, you know, still learning in the ring, still learning with promos, stuff like that. And ever since she became, you know, the role model, the heel and stuff like that, definitely, like, so good. Oh, chef's kiss for her. I'm very happy for her. She cut this promo backstage today, and she talked about how, you know, it was the match, the tag team match that she was in, her and Reba versus Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose, and she was very upset because the match was basically used to bring out Andrade. And she said, and I quote, "An innocent person was hurt, and you, Tony Khan, should feel terrible. All for what? So Vicky could bring you Andrade El Idolo, right? That's why you made this match, right? Well, let's see. Reba's knee exploded in a clearly calculated attack, and I almost died in a 2-on-1 ambush, being powerbombed through a table. Hey, you have Andrade, so enjoy your blood money. Maybe next week AEW can run in Saudi Arabia." And I was like, whoa, that definitely got a reaction out of the crowd. It definitely got a reaction out of Twitter. Tony Schiavone with the perfect reaction. He had like one eyebrow. He had his eyebrows up and he like slowly turned to the camera. I was like, the actions of Britt Baker is not of those of Tony Schiavone. Of course, straight shot at WWE. It is what it is. When it is like, I was shocked about it. I thought it was a great move for her as a heel to kind of call that out. I didn't like it when Tony Khan does it, because it's like, you're the promoter, concentrate on your show, yo. You got things you gotta put over. But when it's wrestlers, you know, it's fine. I'm not gonna cry a whole big deal about it, but that was really good. It was really good. It definitely played to her character. And then there was another promo that we saw. Dan Lambert, he had Amanda Nunes, and I forgot the other person who was there too. They were about to do an interview with her, and Dan kind of took the microphone and started cutting a promo, got into the ring, and I'm saying like, okay, what are we doing here? I was like, what are we doing here? And he cut such a great promo. He mentioned how AEW sucks, and he talked about how he didn't watch wrestling in a while. He started talking about, you know, the time where he used to watch wrestling and stuff like that, and it was getting the crowd going. And I'm sitting here like, yo, he's gotten a really good promo. His delivery, you know, the cadence, the tone and stuff like that. It didn't sound like he was reciting, didn't sound like he was reading. It sounded like he was just having like a conversation, being pissed off and having a conversation with someone about it. And I'm sitting here like, yo, he is cutting a better promo than a lot of people sitting in locker rooms right now, including WWE. But yeah, it was really good. And then Lance Archer comes out, which I really didn't get. And Dan Lambert took a really nice bump. I was completely shocked about that. Overall, AEW Road Rager was a very good show. Not understanding the as far as with the Young Bucks, where are we going for here from this? What's the long game? I know that we're doing the, we're dominant, we're the Young Bucks and we're dominant and we're good and we do super kicks and stuff. But it's like, yeah, who is this underdog tag team that is supposed to take you down? Because the chance for you guys to lose the titles is gone. Because it was a perfect opportunity for Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston to do, especially the fact that they were popular with the fans with their chemistry and stuff like that. It would make sense that, in order for, someone, for two brothers who have, they known each other their whole lives, of course, and of course have the perfect chemistry as far as a tag team, it would make sense for two friends who have been friends since they were kids to have just as much as chemistry to defeat them. But, what do I know? I'm just here podcasting to you guys. So now getting into SmackDown, a quick recap of it. Roman Reigns is not scared of Edge. And he was talking to Jimmy Uso, and he goes out to the ring. Jimmy Uso comes out, and like I said, it was something with them eyes, yo. He wasn't, obviously he wasn't feeling himself tonight with everything that has gone on, especially with the announcement of him being arrested for a DUI. But it just seems like he just was not feeling it. And then out comes Jey Uso. And Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, they cut, I would say, a powerful promo. And they was like cutting the promo. They were cutting it to Jimmy Uso, and it really felt that this was going past storyline. That they were like really talking to him about coming together and get it together. Jey Uso sitting there saying me and you since day one, we're the Usos. Let's get it together and be the 7-time tag team champions. And Roman Reigns cutting a nice promo as well, saying that the three of us together, we're unstoppable, but we can only do this if we do this my way and we do this together. And the three of them come in for a hug, and you see them hug like for a little bit longer time, and you kind of see Jimmy kind of hide his face a little bit. So I kind of figured that he was tearing up, because it really felt like they were like talking to him, like, yo, tag team champion, your cousin, your brother, let's do it together. Let's take over WWE and let's do it together. Even though yours truly kind of went the opposite and have Uso versus Uso. Maybe it's not the right time to pull it, but yeah. But it was a really nice moment, a very touching moment, and like it's very easy for it would have been very easy for Roman Reigns to turn around and like have Jey attack Jimmy or something like that, or to punish Jimmy or something. But what we're getting is like this. It's kind of like, it feels like there's like manipulating, tones going on there, but he's like, he just wants it all for family. But it's like, yeah, but what is your deal? This is the last week of no live crowd, so really the test of time if the live crowd is going to boo Roman Reigns like the crowd, quote unquote, had been booing Roman Reigns and saying you suck really loudly on SmackDown, or if what I know is going to happen, he is going to get cheered like all hell once he gets in front of the live crowd. Because he's the tribal chief and he's doing this all for family. How can you boo a guy who's doing things for family? I mean, it's Fast and Furious WWE edition. It's Dom right there. This is for family. All right. But yeah, it was definitely like, it felt like it felt like a sinister tone to it, but it was just like you feel it, but it's not there. It's like really, and it's really good storytelling. It's really good acting, because you have to be able to put out that type of promo and like be convincing of it. But it was a very powerful promo. And then after that, we had Baron Corbin going against Shinsuke Nakamura for a spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And Baron Corbin talked about how he lost his car, he lost his crown, he's behind on his house now. And I was about to say, well, I thought he was gonna say, I lost my car, I lost my house, I lost my girlfriend, but I was like, okay, maybe he doesn't have a girlfriend. And I'm sitting here like, well, I know they said bad investments, but this all tied in when he lost the crown. So I'm like, what is it with the crown? Is it like a good luck charm or something like that? Do you find a bag of money with it? If it is, please tell me where I can find said crown. I may run up on Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm not going to attack him. I'm not that dumb. Steal the crown off of him and just get a little bit of good luck come my way. But yeah, we see that Shinsuke Nakamura now has Baron Corbin's car. Big E comes out for some reason. Him and Pat McAfee are like putting down Baron Corbin live on live mics. And I'm saying like, yo, this is I mean, it's kind of working because people were starting to feel bad for Baron Corbin. You kind of feel sad for the guy because like, yo, he's being eliminated on like in public, like in front of the whole world on live mics on top of that. Normally with commentary, you just hear what the commentators say. But, Pat McAfee being Pat McAfee and just like really, saying how it is alongside Big E, wow, like amazing. I may piss off a few people here, but I kind of dig Pat McAfee on commentary. Like you can tell he's really having fun. With him dancing to Nakamura and stuff. What I really appreciate though is that he's not a straight up heel commentator or a face commentator. He likes what he likes. And if he liked Shinsuke Nakamura's music, he was on top of that damn announce table dancing and carrying on. I like the fact that he's not cheering for, like, he's not behind someone because they're a heel. Or he's not 100% behind someone just because of your face. Like, he liked Big E because Big E, paid for him to get a pedicure or whatever. Or hooked him up with a pedicure. He loves Shinsuke Nakamura's, theme music. He was talking about, Baron Corbin's hairline, which is like, yo, help a brother out. Don't talk about the hairline, help the hairline. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was something. And of course, Baron Corbin lost, so now Shinsuke Nakamura is in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And this Money in the Bank ladder match is definitely stacking up. And I will talk about it just in a little bit. We also had a tag team match. It was Natalya and Tamina going against a new tag team who has never been seen on SmackDown. And come to find out, it's Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox. I'm sitting here like, Tegan Nox was just on Wednesday and was starting a feud with Candice LeRae. And I'm like, but Shotzi never won the NXT championship. And I'm pretty sad about it. But I am happy for them. They got called up and they're on SmackDown. So it's at least a good thing. SmackDown treats the women's division a little better than Raw. So I'm happy for them. But them as a tag team, I'm getting Ricochet and Aleister Black vibes. Where, you throw people together as a tag team just because. However, as we have seen, WWE done got rid of almost every single women's tag team on the roster, so WWE really needs some tag teams going. Amber Moon, I guess she said no to coming up to the main roster with Shotzi, and then they decided to use Tegan Nox because she's back, I'm guessing. But best of luck to them too. I guess this is a permanent call up, or if this is just like they did with I think it was with who was it with? It was with DUI, if I remember correctly, when they got called up, but they were still working NXT, and which was a weird dynamic because you kind of gotta like switch between gimmicks between the main roster and NXT. Another call up, and we saw the vignette for this, Toni Storm is coming to SmackDown. A lot of people on Twitter were starting to ask, where's Mia Yim? And I'm also wondering, where's Mia Yim too? Maybe that's who Toni Storm may have a feud against, coming off the bat. But very happy that we getting Toni Storm on SmackDown as well. Another is continue on with the women's division. Bianca Belair, like I said, Bayley is injured, will be out for 9 months. Sonya Deville comes out and mentioned how Bianca Belair will not have someone going against her at the Money in the Bank ladder match. But instead, she's going to defend her title on SmackDown the few days before. And I'm like, what? Like, maybe this is a Fox move. This is the second time we're supposed to get a title match, a SmackDown title match on a pay-per-view, and come to find out it's on SmackDown. I don't know if this is Fox pulling the strings or if this is WWE that's just doing this just because, but she announced who is going to be going against Bianca Belair for the title, and come to find out, surprise, surprise, it's Carmella for some reason. Liv Morgan, of course, is very upset. Sonya Deville announced to her that because Carmella is no longer in the Money in the Bank ladder match, Liv Morgan will be the replacement. So I'm like, okay, well, Liv Morgan fighting for a spot was kind of all for nothing. Because it kind of, I mean, obviously, it was all sudden because of Bayley getting injured. But I wish they could have, kind of tweaked it a little more here, and not just say, here, Liv Morgan, just take the damn spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. You got it. Now get the hell out of my ring, like Sonya Deville said. So we're slowly stacking up with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match as well. Going into the end, we also had the spot where the Usos were going to Edge's locker room. Jimmy Uso was going to knock on it like a polite person. And Jay was like, whoa, what are you doing? We're not going to knock. We're going to have him come to us. And then a little bit later, they kind of barged into the locker room like the heels that they're supposed to be, quote unquote, and went looking for Edge. Of course, Edge wasn't there. Edge had an interview a little bit earlier that day where he kind of came for at Roman Reigns and stuff, and the segment with Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns was hilarious because Paul Heyman came up to him like a freaking Elder Scrolls character or something, and he was like, "My lord, my lord, Edge is going to summon you," and Roman Reigns was like, okay, and Paul Heyman was like, "My lord." I know he said "my tribal chief," but it just felt like a video. He felt like an NPC. "My lord, he came at your manhood. I'm so sorry, my lord. He came at your manhood." And then you see Roman Reigns kind of like think about it and stuff. And so we get to the end of the night. Roman Reigns tells the Usos, stay in the back. He's walking to the front because Edge is calling him out. He's walking to the entrance with Paul Heyman staring a hole into the side of his head. I'm gonna make this joke for a while that Paul Heyman is a straight up NPC, yo. Staring a hole at him, and then Roman Reigns turns around and tells Paul Heyman, hold on to the title. And Paul Heyman's looking like, oh, my lord, you shouldn't. But, Roman Reigns wants to show that he's not afraid of Edge, and he can come out on his own. So we see Roman Reigns come out. He's staring down Edge. Edge is daring him to come in. Roman Reigns starts to slowly take off the jacket. And then we see the Usos acting like baby's kids, talking about some, I feel like this is a trap, Us. Let's go out there. Yeah, let's go out there. And here come their little non-listening behinds, and the mom in me is like, if you don't sit down and listen to, what did I just say? Didn't I just say don't come here? Like, I was slightly triggered by that part. So the Usos come out, you see Roman Reigns turn around, was like, didn't I just tell you to go into the back? And so they sitting there hyping him up, like, yeah, go get him, Us. And you see Roman Reigns, he's like hesitating, but he's not really hesitating. He's like playing it off and stuff. And so he gets into the ring with Edge. They start fighting. Edge starts to get a bit of the upper hand. You see the Usos kind of get into it. And then here comes the Mysterios. They're back. And they start attacking the Usos. Edge was about to go for the spear on Roman Reigns, but you see, I think it was Jey Uso who started holding the leg. And then the Usos starting to get attacked, and the ship went down quickly, and the captain did not go down with the ship. Roman Reigns gets out of the ring. You see Edge. He takes the chair. Very very unique move. First of all, he takes the rung off of the chair, and he does the submission hold. It's like the crippler crossface, except for he takes the bar from the chair and he puts it through their mouth, which causes more pain, of course. And Edge is just going through each of the Usos, and just, they're screaming for help, tears in the eyes, crying for the tribal chief. And the tribal chief kind of, he just stood there and just stared off at, he's just standing there as Edge was just choking out the Usos over and over again, and they're, begging for their cousin to help them, and Roman Reigns just kind of stood there. And that is such great storytelling, because we know what's going to happen next week when the Usos be like, yo, Us, why didn't you help me? And then Roman Reigns is going to sit there and say, if you had stayed in the back like I told you the first time, this wouldn't have happened to you. Because you got involved, then the Usos came out, and basically they overpowered us. And instead of me, standing up to Edge one-on-one, here you guys come. And it's that whole like cycle of Roman Reigns kind of like twisting and turning and getting the Usos to listen to him is going to continue all over again, because it's going to be like, see, I told you guys what to do. I told you guys to do it my way. You didn't do it my way, and look what happened. You guys were the last shot of SmackDown with you guys with your eyes bulging out, saliva coming down your mouth because you didn't listen the first time. Very good storytelling from SmackDown. It's very exciting to watch SmackDown. I hope you enjoyed my story from Elder Scrolls with featuring Paul Heyman. I gotta come up with an NPC name for Paul Heyman, but the My Lord stuff, because I remember, because he in SmackDown, he was like, I'm so sorry, my tribal chief. I died there, because it's the way Paul Heyman is so good at promos and delivering, emotions, facial expressions, and like lines that when he said something like that, I was totally cracking up. So now we're building up the Money in the Bank briefcase match. We had a great match between Seth Rollins and Cesaro. Cesaro getting busted open. They went to commercial in the middle of the match here, and then it comes back and you see Cesaro swinging Seth Rollins. So it's like, okay, what is going on? Cesaro busted wide open, bleeding. But this was a good match between these two. Seth Rollins takes the win, and now the Money in the Bank briefcase ladder match is looking like this. We have Seth Rollins, John Morrison, Ricochet, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, and Shinsuke Nakamura. That is a stacked ladder match, ladies and gentlemen. That is a very good card. Normally, with Money in the Bank matches, we get that one person who kind of don't really belong there, but you know that they're there to either put in the power for the match, or they're just there because they needed to fill a spot. But with this ladder match, my goodness, we're going to get a lot of crazy spots, especially between John Morrison and Ricochet and Seth Rollins. Riddle's going to throw in something crazy. We know Kevin Owens is going to do something crazy. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to kick the hell out of everyone. Big E is there for the power. And Drew McIntyre is there because it's Drew McIntyre. But no, I'm fine with him being in the ladder match. It kind of not really puts him back in the title picture. But it kind of gives him that step down from being in the title picture. On the women's side, we got Zelina Vega, Liv Morgan, Nikki Ash, Naomi, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss. So there's 2 more spots, which I think one has to come from Raw and the other has to come from SmackDown, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yep. One has to come from Raw and one has to come from SmackDown. So we're going to see next week the go-home show for Raw and the go-home show for SmackDown of who is going to be the last 2 women in the Money in the Bank briefcase as well. Very good week for our wrestling fans. I love it when we have these type of weeks where, it's when wrestling is exciting, especially now that we get the live crowds. We're going to have the live crowd next week for the go home show for SmackDown. And then we're going to get the first live crowd for a pay-per-view at Money in the Bank. If you're one of the people who's going to Money in the Bank, please be loud. Please be loud, you know. Let us hear you. Don't be obnoxious, but, you know, get y'all chants together too. You know, if you're going to chant "this is awesome" or whatever, like, make sure you're all in one voice, okay? Just really make all of us at home proud. But like I said, exciting week in wrestling. It really was. So that's it for the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you so much for listening. This was a bit of a longer episode, but that's because we had a lot to cover between an incredible Great American Bash, Road Rager, and an excellent SmackDown as well. So let me give some shout outs. Shout out to Julian Rob Bass from Wrestling Court Podcast and AlternativeMinds.com. Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show. Chris from We Talk Next podcast, which is featured with Keita on the Keita and Jay Show. Nando and Larry from Half K podcast. Devin Hafiz from Clark Street Wrestling as well. Normally I give shout outs for a special shout out to a podcast, and I realized I really didn't have one lined up today, but I think I saw an anniversary. Now I wasn't really live for a week or two, so I had one for last week, but I forgot what it was. But yeah, sorry. Coming up next week, I'll be giving my predictions for Money in the Bank. I will also be reviewing next week, I believe, is Fight for the Fallen Night 1 or Fighter Fest. One of those. I think it's Fighter Fest Night 1 that's coming next week. It's one of those shows. I know it starts with an F, okay? So yeah, I'll be giving predictions for Money in the Bank. I'm more likely, I may come out on Thursday next week. It just wasn't happening this week with Thursday, last week with me getting the COVID shot, and then this week I had something coming up, so I had to be live on Friday. But I am hoping to be live Thursday next week, so be on the lookout. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me on Twitter at JDC137. That's JAYDEEC137. Yes, it is a Rick and Morty reference. And be sure to follow the podcast at Wrestlebread as well on Twitter. You can also find the podcast on Facebook, Twitter, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube as well. Be sure to leave a review. Be sure to like the page on Facebook. Be sure to let me know your thoughts, how you felt about this week. You interact with me, I interact with you. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, guys, peace.